I remember my freshman year in high school, just really this goal to be the four-time state champion in California. In that first season, I didn't make grades. My GPA was too low, and I remember I had to sit out that first part of the season, and just felt this feeling of just wanting to quit. And I had coaches and my parents come around me and say, "Don't give up, just keep on wrestling." Took third my sophomore year in high school and ended up coming back my junior year and winning the state title. There was a school in northern Idaho that picked me up and they gave me a scholarship to come and wrestle for them. It was my second year in college, and I remember that God was kind of pulling me back and just showing me that the things and the way that I was living and it wasn't the right way, it wasn't honoring Him. And so it was a Friday night that I flew into San Jose airport, and my dad picked me up, and I was so excited to see him, and I was especially excited to visit my cousin Manuel. And we used to call him Big Head because he had this big old head. And so he rose up in his Astro van and honks in the horn about 9 o'clock, and we jump out. We're talking, we're laughing, and noticed this white car with about 5 guys. They were right behind us, right behind the van, almost gonna make us wreck. And I told my cousin Manuel, "Hey, pull over, these guys are gonna make us wreck." And so my cousin Manuel pulls over, and that white car goes around the left-hand side of us. Out from that back seat of that car, out comes out a hand holding a gun. Before we can even do anything, the gunshot went off. Bam, bam, bam. And we got down as fast as we could, and I see all this blood on me, and I'm looking to see if I got shot, and I look at my brother, he's down. I look at my cousin Manuel, and the bullet had shot him in his cheek, and it came out the back of his head. His foot had slammed on the gas pedal, so the van took off, and I grabbed the wheel, and we're trying to miss cars. My heart's racing, we're picking up speed, and we crossed the street, and we hit a brick building. My whole chest hit the radio, and my leg got popped into my back, and I heard my back snap. If someone took a metal bat and hit you as hard as they could. The ambulance finally come, the fire engines, and they end up taking us to the hospital. And my dad came in, and he had told me that my cousin Manuel was dead. They had murdered him, and that moment, it was just like life had just got sucked out of me, and I just began to slip into this depression. And I remember being in the hospital, and the doctor said, "Well, Mr. Gomez, we got some bad news for you and some good news, but bad news is this, that you fractured your alto vertebrae. You're probably never going to wrestle again, and the good news is that you're not paralyzed." I had a friend that invited me to church, and that night the preacher was preaching on about how God had the power to heal. They ended up calling me up, and they laid hands on me, and they prayed for me, and I went back home, and my body didn't feel different, but my mind. In Romans, it talks about being renewed by the transforming of your mind, and it was like God got a hold of me that night, and my prayer was, "God, just let me put my running shoes on and run around the block without this brace and this walker." And little by little, I was able to start running 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles. Like, God, just let me put my wrestling shoes on one more time. And I put on my shoes and started stretching out, and about 3.5 years later, when the doctor said I would never be able to wrestle again, I not only wrestled again, but I won my very first tournament back. Today, I'm living really the dream that God has given me, being able to be an athlete in sports 15 years of my life, and now being able to share with young people about Jesus Christ and His love. And I didn't know this at the time, but 2 weeks before my cousin was murdered, he asked Jesus Christ into his life to be his Lord and his Savior. And I believe I'm going to see that big old head again in heaven. And I'm just so grateful that God would take hold of my life and completely transform me, redeem me, and use this platform of wrestling to be able to share the gospel with people, and giving me this strength to continue even when I get taken down, to get back up. My name is Tony Gomez. I'm a son, I'm a wrestler, I'm a child of the Most High God, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords.